Greetings fellow masters and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun and today we are going to be talking about Xuanzang. During the Tang Dynasty's era of Zhenguan, the young Xuanzang, in his quest for finding the knowledge in Buddhism, embarked on a journey to India that is fraught with perils and danger. He encountered natural disasters and sees the suffering of the common people. Soldiers get in his way, his disciples betray him, he struggles through deserts, runs short on food and water, and all in the quest for Buddha's teachings. He finally arrives in India and studies Buddhism in earnest. By the time he returns to China, he is already 50 years old and a legend all his own. Wait, hold on. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about the gender-bent, half-naked major asset to your team. That is Xuanzang, or Zhenjiao Sanzou. Sanzou is a 5-star caster with 11,658 attack as well as 12,965 hit points. As of this recording, Sanzou is sitting very confidently at the very top of the max attack for caster servants. With that 11,658, that puts her very far ahead of caster Nero Claudius with 10,857. As for her hit points, it does put her a little further down the tree, unfortunately clocking in around the same as Media Lily as well as Irie. She has a very typical caster deck with 1 Buster, 1 Quick, and 3 Arts. She has 3 hits on her Quick cards, 2 on her Arts cards, 1 on her Buster, 6 on her extra attack, and 12 on her Noble Phantasm. She is a divine servant, so she will get extra buffs for those servants who increase damage for divine. She has a Noble Phantasm gain of 0.82 on her attacks, as well as a standard 3 on her defense. She has a 52 in star weight. Star rate is 11%. Death rate is 34.5. Her 0.82% NP gain on attack coupled with the 2 hits on her 3 arts cards will do her a great favor in getting her Noble Phantasm charged fairly quickly. Moving on to her skills, you will see just how good her Noble Phantasm gain is. So number 1 is Rapid Sutra Chanting A. This increases Noble Phantasm gauge as well as Noble Phantasm strength for 1 turn. So this does have a cooldown of 9 turns, drops at 6 and 10. At rank 1, this charges your NP gauge by 50% and your NP strength by 10%. At rank 10, you're getting 80% and 20% respectively. So that means, boom, first turn, depending on your craft essence, you can fire off a Noble Phantasm. If you couple her with a Waver, you do not need to use his crit increasing skill in order to get her Noble Phantasm all the way up, unless you are using level 1, in which case, even with a Waver, she is able to fire off her Noble Phantasm round 1. However, you will want to max this out, as not only does it increase your Noble Phantasm gauge, it increases your Noble Phantasm strength. Now, number 2, Attractive Charms A. This applies target focus, that's taunt, as well as applies damage cut. These are both for 1 turn. Cooldown is 8 turns, 7 and 6 respectively at 10. So looking at damage cut, we have 500 at rank 1, all the way up to 1500 at rank 10. Now, previously I had discussed this with someone and they were like, oh, well, 500 is not that much in the way of damage cut. That is actually how much Waver's damage cut gives on his defense up. So you are looking at 1500 damage cut as well as guts for 1 turn. This makes her a 1-turn tank. Now let's go on to the number 3 skill. This is the Teachings of Sanzang A. This increases NP gain of all allies for 3 turns. This also increases critical star drop rate for 3 turns, as well as nullifies debuff for 1 turn. At rank 1, this is 10 and 10%, all the way up to 30 and 30% at rank 10. So at rank 10, you are getting a 30% increase on NP gain. You're also getting a 30% increase on critical star drop rate. So as I said before, this chick is all about getting off those noble phantasms. Her passive skills are Territory Creation A+. This increases arts cards effectiveness by 11%, which is good because she has 3 arts cards. You also have Divinity D, which increases your damage by 125. So let's talk about this noble phantasm that I have been speaking about pretty much this entire video. This is the 5-element mountain Gu Tama Buddha's Palm, and not only does it have a super fantastic, super cool name, but it is an anti-army, anti-fortress, rank B single target Buster Noble Phantasm, and if all of that didn't sell you, well, just check out these animations. So now that you just watched her straight punch somebody right into a giant rock, let's talk about this noble phantasm. This is a rank B anti-army, anti-fortress, a single target noble phantasm that decreases critical hit on overcharge 600% at rank 1 all the way up to 1000% damage at rank 5. Now this also greatly decreases critical hit damage by 80% on overcharge all the way up to 120% on overcharge 5. This does later have a rank up quest which increases this from 800% all the way up to 1200%. Now this is going to be fantastic for just dealing massive amounts of caster damage. Right now in NA, we do not have any very good offensive casters, and what Sanzou brings to the table is one of the best caster buster noble phantasms in the game currently, as well as maintains her viability in the long run. Taking a look at the essential materials, you are going to have 9 seeds, 10 octuplet crystals, as well as 12 plumes, and 5 spirit roots. The plumes are probably going to be your bottleneck here, as these are terrible and very high in demand. If you have been playing the past couple of events, the spirit roots are not very hard to come by. If you haven't, however, they are a little bit of a pain to farm outside of events. However, you do not need to wait until a daily event to farm these, as they are farmable in the American nodes. Now, moving on to her skills, this is where your investment into Sanzou is going to come, because taking a look at this, you have 15 octuplet crystals, you have 18 seeds, you have 24 horseshoes, as well as 24 pages, not to mention the QP investment that you are going to need to put into each one of her skills. Now, this may seem like a very insurmountable amount of materials as well as QP to put forth. However, it is 100% worth it. Her first skill, you will absolutely want to max out, because the 80% NP charge along with the 20% NP strength is going to be one of your bread and butter skills. The third skill that increases your allies' NP gain as well as your own, as well as critical star drops, is also going to be very, very high on the list of things that you are going to want to max out. The taunt, while I will potentially max this out third, this does give her a very, very good amount of survivability. However, it does come with a taunt. So not maxing this and using that taunt may put you into a little bit of trouble. So while the investment is very high, you are going to want to invest in Sanzou's skills. Now, moving on to craft essence suggestions. As I have stated, this servant is very, very big on noble phantasms. As such, things like Black Grail, Heaven's Feel, Halloween Princess are all very fantastic, mostly because things like Halloween Princess will allow you to start with your NP gauge up, which guarantees a first turn noble phantasm as well as extra damage. If you are running something like a waiver that can pop off that extra little bit of NP gauge that you need, the Black Grail will just turn her into an absolute tactical nuke that should just blow anything on the board off of the board. So if you don't have the Black Grail, Heaven's Feel is also a very viable option. Now let's talk about who you should be teaming her up with. Obviously, people like Nightingale to increase the Buster performance on your Noble Phantasm. Very, very fantastic support for any Buster servant, as well as the healing. You also have William Shakespeare if you are running on a budget. Teaming her up with the likes of Waver is very good as well, so that you can get off multiple Noble Phantasms. When you are running Sanzou, remember that Sanzou is your main DPS, and the rest of the servants there are going to be there to support her. So any supporter that you would normally run would be fantastic. So like I said, Nightingale, Waver, Shakespeare, Hans, all of these are fantastic options to run with Sanzou. Now, with all of that said, Sanzou is a very, very fantastic single target damage dealer caster. Her skills, which fill her NP gauge by a very large amount, as well as bring NP gain and star generation to the rest of the team. Her taunt, however, it is very, very good, is pretty hard to make use of in critical situations, because if you do taunt, you are not going to have an invincibility or an evade. So tanking Noble Phantasms is going to be very hard without external support. With her being the best single target offensive caster in the game currently, as well as retaining that spot throughout the majority of the game, I do think that Sanzou is a fantastic pickup and very, very much worth your quartz. However, if you do not roll her, or if you want to skip this banner, she will be in the normal gacha and you can spook you at any time in the future. So if you feel like you need to skip this in favor of some of the other phenomenal banners that are coming out, just know that she will be in the normal gacha and you can get her, albeit a much, much lower chance. So with that said, I know that I personally will be rolling on her because I need a good offensive single target caster. It is one of the things that my team has been very, very much lacking. So I hope that this guide has helped you out, and if it did, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that bell notification. I would like to give a huge shout out to all of the Patreons that help make this channel possible. You are the real MVPs, and if you too would like to join, there's a link down below so that you can go sign up. You do get some cool perks and stuff like that. And anyways, guys, like I said, I hope that this helped you out. If it did, let me know down in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next spotlight. Take it easy. Peace.